guys, welcome to my November book recommendations video. It's the second to last one because December will be the last one of the year. And I am not super on track for my goal, so we'll see what happens in December if I actually get to 52 books this year. But keeping that in mind, I have a couple books to talk about for November, and if you haven't watched my previous book recommendation videos, I will link them in the description. Basically every month I read some books, I'm going to talk about them, and I'm trying to get to 52 books in a year, but I'm a little behind, so we'll talk about that at the end. Anyways, I really only read 2 books this month. I finished 2 books. I'll explain. So, I did read quite a bit. I read more of this book, which is The Magic Words by Cheryl Klein. I talked about this in one of my previous book recommendation videos. It's a book basically about how to write, specifically how to write for children and young adults. And it's basically been like the textbook for a class I'm taking about writing for children and young adults. So it was like a textbook, but it's also a book. It's very informative if you're at all interested in writing young adult fiction. It was good. But so anyways, my class ended. I actually went to the last class of that class today, earlier this morning. So that class is done, so we're done with the textbook, so I finished this book. But I already mentioned it before, so I finished it this month, but I'd started reading it like 2 months ago. So there was this. Then I'm reading more of the Star Wars book that I mentioned in one of my previous videos, and One Punch Man, which is a manga I mentioned in one of my previous videos. I read more of those, but I didn't actually finish either of them, so they're not really going to be in this video because I'm still in the process of reading them. But the one thing I did read this month and complete it is this book. It's called The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. You might have heard of it because it's winning all kinds of awards right now. It's super important and talked about, and it is really important. It is about a black teenager who gets shot and killed by a police officer. It is really hard to read in places because it's so relevant and topical to things that are happening in the world right now, which makes it harder to read but also more important to read. And it's also, like, the characters are compelling, the main character is great, and there's moments that are funny, and there's moments that are full of, like, humor and human emotion, and it's a really good book, and I really think you should read it. It's eerily important in what's happening right now, specifically in the States, but also just in the world. So I read this book, it's really good. I would recommend it. Angie Thomas, The Hate You Give. It's really good, and it is the one book that I really read this month because I was so busy with school and just life, so I didn't read a lot this month. So basically the only things I finished this month were The Hate You Give and The Magic Words, both recommended. But other than that, I didn't read a lot, so I'm only at 38 out of 52 books at the moment, I believe. Which means I have to read like 14, I think, books in December to get to 52, and as much as I want that to happen, I don't think that's likely. I will have more time over December to read because I won't be in school, but, I mean, I'm still gonna be doing things in December, so I don't think it's likely that I'll read 14 books. Maybe I'll read really short books. I don't know. I'm gonna try, but I can't promise anything. So at the end of December, I'm gonna make another one of these videos, and I'm gonna talk about what I read in December, and you're gonna find out if I got to 52 books or not. You can also follow my Goodreads account to keep up with what I'm reading, which I will link in the description. And you know, if I don't get to 52 books, then I don't get to 52 books. It was just sort of a goal to try to read more, and some months that worked. I read a lot some months, and some months it didn't work so much, and I barely read anything. But that's what happens. It was just sort of a goal to see if I could achieve it. So you should let me know if you read either of those books that I mentioned, or what you have been reading, and if you think I can get to 52 books in December, because I'm not sure about that. But like I said, you can follow me on Goodreads, be my friend on Goodreads, and you can see what I'm reading, and I can see what you're reading. You can like this video if you enjoyed it, and you can subscribe. I do one of these at the end of every month, and I make all kinds of other videos about video games, and anime, and all kinds of nerdy stuff that I enjoy. So thanks for watching, and wish me luck on reading 14 books in December. We'll see how that goes.